Okay, gentlemen. Now, we are in the second part of unit number 3. That's the grammar focus. Means like, what are the grammatical items you need to learn to write a good narrative essay? So, for writing a good essay, we need 4 important grammar items. What are they? Number 1, you need the sequence words. Sequence means the order. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it comes in an order. Last week, yesterday, like this, we need to maintain order to narrate the incidents. And number 2, you need the subordinating conjunctions of time. What time did it happen? And number 3, the use of past continuous. You should know how to use past continuous and simple past at the same time. And finally, the subordinating conjunction with while and when. So, let's get started here. Number 1, a sequence in narrative essay. First of all, what do you mean by sequence? Sequence just means an order. That is, the events have to be narrated according to the time, like according to when did this happen, one by one. So, why do we need this sequence words? Because you need to know where did you start and what are the things you underwent and how did you finish. So we'll start with, for example, first of all, to begin, to start with, and finally you finish with eventually or finally. Now, these narrative words, how do we use them? Like use them as subordinating conjunctions to link the clauses within a sentence. Clear? Now, what are the common sequence words? Afterward, after that. See, these are all the time words that you can use for the sequence words. Later, later on, now, then, suddenly. It depends on the context. In what context are you using? And what's the most important thing? Whenever you use a sequence word, you need a comma after that. For example, finally. But for then, there's no comma. But for finally, afterwards, eventually, suddenly, you all need a comma here. Now, what are the common sequence words? In the beginning, we have all these terms like in the beginning, first of all, once upon a time, one day, first or firstly, to begin with, to start once. So select one or two and then find them how we can use this in your intro in the body paragraph number 1. And in between, like you can use these words soon, meanwhile, later. All these ones are to be used in the middle paragraphs, essentially in the body. And something unexpected happens. What do we do? You use suddenly or all of a sudden, all this stuff. And finally, the ending, you can use finally, at last, in conclusion, to summarize any one of them. Clear? So, now, why should we use these connectors? The main point here is, by using a connector, we show the order of events and so the coherence is maintained. Okay. Now a question arises. Should we use connectors in every single sentence of the essay? For example, you're writing 250 words, means roughly around 25 sentences. Should you write Should you add a sequence word for all the 25 sentences? No, no need. Whenever you describe a new incident or whenever you describe a change, then you will have to use a sequence word. Clear? Fine. Come to the next one. How do we use the subordinate conjunction with the simple past? Now, what's the function of a subordinate conjunction and where do we use it? We use this in clauses in sentences. Now, normally, how many clauses do you get in a sentence? In a sentence, 2 clauses. One is the main clause, another one is the dependent clause. And the dependent clause here is the time clause. Now, what is the difference between the main clause and the dependent clause? The main clause can be a sentence. For example, we went into the street. So sentence, as a sentence is independent, it's okay. I was an only child, it's also a sentence. We went into the street, correct, right? But after our parents left the hotel, is it a sentence up to here? Can you make a full stop here? No, because this is a clause. This is not a complete sentence. So this is called as the dependent clause. And here the dependent clause, what is the function of the dependent clause here? It will tell you the time when did this happen. So the dependent clauses here means we use a time clause to support the main clause to say when did this incident happen. For example, we went into the street. When? After our parents left the hotel. So the time clause will add the time to the main clause, and the time clause cannot be a sentence of its own. Clear? So a complex sentence, mainly it has 2 clauses, a main clause and a dependent clause. Main clause is also called independent clause. So the main clause can be a sentence on its own, but a dependent clause cannot be a sentence on its own. So what is the function of the dependent clause? The function of the dependent clause here is to give the time when did something particular happen. Now, look at this. Some popular time clauses. Before. What is the opposite? After. So, and then you can use the time when. When, what can you use? You can use as soon as, once, until, or while. So all these conjunctions, they come with the time clause, not with the main clause. Look at this. This morning, I got up as soon as the clock rang. So this is simple past and this is past continuous. I had breakfast after I had brushed the teeth. I got up dressed before I left home. I waited in the MTR station until the train arrived. I read a book while I was traveling on a train. I went to the library when. Okay, so let's take for example, I went to the library when I arrived to school. Okay, so here, when did you go to the library? When you arrived at school. So when here connects this clause with the other clause. Now, here is time for some exercises. For the subordinating clauses, you need to use the subordinating clause. subordinating conjunction, and then join both the sentences. Here, after. Now, what do you mean by after? Like, what did you do first and second? Like, what was the first action and what was the second action? Here, what was the first action? People harvested the apples. What is the second action? After harvesting, they stored them in cellars. So you say, after people harvested the apples, comma, they stored in cellars. And what is the opposite of after? Before. So how do you use before here? People waited for a long time for mail. It arrived. So what is the first action here? They wait for a long time. What is the second action here? It arrived. So you say people waited for a long time for mail before it arrived. Got it? And what's the meaning of as soon as? As soon as means immediately, quickly. Okay, so these are the three common conjunctions we use in narrative essays: after, before, as soon as. And now, like answer 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, let's go to the next grammatical item. This is a very important item here. That is the use of past continuous. Now, past continuous. First of all, what is the form we need to use? Was plus the verb plus ing. This is for singular, and where is for plural. The sun, singular. Yes. The negative, wasn't, weren't, and wasn't. This is for a man and this is for a thing. So simply you can say was plus the verb plus ing for singular. For plural, it is were plus the verb and ing. This is for the plural. Now, where should we use past continuous? The past continuous basically comes with a simple past, or it can come independently also. But the main thing here, that is, it's in the past, and this one is a continuous with another action. Means the past continuous describes an action which runs in the background. What do you mean by background? That is behind. For example, the phone rang when you are reading a book. So the reading starts here and it goes like here, like here, like here. And here the phone rang. It's a short action. But I was reading a book is a long action. Is that right? So the reading a book was the background action, and when that action was going on, something happened. So for the background action, we use past continuous. Clear, guys? So here, be very careful. Past continuous, we need to use was plus the verb plus ing. And if it's plural, we'll use were plus verb plus ing. How to use them? We use them for background actions. When something was going on, something happened. Now, is it possible to use past continuous in two actions? Yes. Like, look at the example here. The sun was going down. The children were still playing, both of them in the past continuous. This is also possible because both these actions are continuous. Now, what's the difference between simple past and past continuous? For example, look at this sentence. I was talking on the phone when my brother arrived. So this is simple past, and this is past continuous. And what's the conjunction here? When. The time conjunction is when. He was drinking coffee when he suddenly fell sick. How are they connected? When. Ali took a photo. We were getting out of the bus. This is the background. We were waiting for the bus when we saw a car accident. We were waiting. But both of them are in the past. Look at this. We saw the car accident when we were waiting for the bus. So waiting for the bus, it starts from here and it goes up to here. For example, yesterday morning 7 up to 8 a.m. you are waiting for the bus. And when did you see the accident? It was, say, 7:45. So when the car accident happened at 7:45, what were you doing? You are waiting for the bus. How long? 7 to 8. Clear? So something started before, some action in the background. We need to use the past continuous, and something happens in between, a shorter action, you'll use the simple past. Fine. Now, here, this is time for the exercises for past continuous. See, underline all the verbs that describe background actions. Background actions means it is past continuous or past progressive. They call it as past progressive also. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. Look at the difference here. The sun singular, so you use was. Birds plural, so you use were. They were talking. The radio was playing. So underline all the sentences, all the verbs in the past continuous that they describe background actions. And once you finish with this, you come here and complete the words. Just take any idea. It's open writing. Whatever comes to your mind, you can write here, but make sure that you make it in the past continuous. Fine. Now, can you use past continuous in both the clauses? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. How? Because when there are two simultaneous activities, what's the meaning of simultaneous? Means both happening at the same time. Like, I was sleeping. What were the kids doing? They were watching TV. So this is both the actions happen at the same time and both of them are continuous. It is called simultaneous, means both the actions happening at the same time. But the second type is interrupted activities, means when something goes in the background, something happens. How? While I was waiting for the bus, I heard a crash. See, this is the past, simple past, and here it's a past continuous. But here, past continuous, past continuous. Why? Because both the actions happen simultaneously. Okay. Now, do the exercises here. Either you write yes or I. Interrupted means you have to use the simple past, and simultaneous means you have to use the past continuous for both the actions. Now check. Is it simultaneous or past continuous? For example, take number 3. The nurse was checking her blood pressure and the doctor was listening. So two actions happen at the same time, and here they have used while. So you have to say here simultaneous. Clear? So check the verbs and say whether it's simultaneous or interrupted action. Now, again, you have to use here while or when. How means you have to make simultaneous or interrupted. What's the meaning of interrupted? Means you use past continuous and simple past, but simultaneous we use past continuous and the second action also past continuous. Clear? So you have to, like, say we were driving, continuous. When a deer ran out, so this is interrupted activity. So here you can use either this or that and make, for example, you make one simultaneous and two interrupted activity, and then make one with past continuous and simple past, and then the other one you make it both of them in the past continuous, means both in the ing. Now, look at this paragraph. You need to do some editing, like there are 7 more mistakes. You need to find them. Okay? You need to find whether what to use, whether simple past or past continuous. Find the mistakes here. For example, we travel while we were traveling, because we use while, we used to use the continuous. Clear? Same thing. My father was was looking. You have here while. Like this, find all the mistakes here and make it a perfect paragraph. And let's start with the review. Like here, you have to use conjunctions here and then join the sentences. Okay. So here it's after, before, while, after, when, while, when, before, while, and while. So use these subordinating conjunctions and change the sentences. Like, for example, the chef went to the store to buy all the ingredients. She came to the restaurant. So when will you buy? Before she came to the restaurant. Clear? So the graduation day was very busy. We went to the auditorium for the ceremony. We came home and prepared the food for the celebration. So when did you prepare the food? When did you go? First, the celebration, you need to prepare the food, right? So you say you went to the graduation day after we came home and prepared the food for the celebration dinner. Now, same thing, it's a review for simple past and past continuous. Like, as I walk. Is it walked or was walking? Check. Check and get all the answers here. And here, again, there are 6 mistakes here. For example, number 1. One morning, I was wait at the bus stop. Is it correct? No, it has to be I was waiting, past continuous. Okay. So like this, you find the other 5 mistakes. Now, coming to the essay. How do we write an essay? For example, like you need to take roughly around 60 minutes to write the essay. The first 5 minutes, you will brainstorm for vocabulary and ideas. And then you prepare the outline. How are you going to write the essay? What are the details you're going to add? And then you start writing the essay. should take around 40 minutes, and then take 5 to 10 minutes to edit and check the mistakes. Clear, guys? So now, these are some topics which may help you. For example, one from computer science, another one from engineering, the other one is from health science. So these are the questions you need to answer. Like, what was your problem? What technology did you use? How did it help? What did you learn? All this you need to get the points by brainstorming. Clear, guys? So as usual, you write an introduction, the conclusion, and the body paragraphs. It depends. Like, you can make 1 or 2, it's according to you, according to your points. Okay, guys? So that's it. And thank you for watching. And now we'll start with the essays in the classroom, and so that you get ready for next week's quiz. Okay? Okay, bye.